We're diving into Dead City Season 2, Episode 7, the penultimate episode. Welcome to Screens in Focus, the podcast where we talk about TV and movies. I'm Diana. Sam is here. Hi, Sam.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I am good. I'm ready to talk about this episode.
I know. I can't wait to talk about it. I'm so excited about it. Let's pose our question of the day. So Maggie, we see her freeze on that glass bridge. What's scarier to you? Standing on a ledge hundreds of feet up, floating alone in deep space, or being trapped deep underwater? That's crazy, right? Oh my God.
That's a trifecta of terrifying.
Yeah. So you're going to think about it. I'm going to think about it. Friends out there, think about it because we are all going to answer it later on. Okay, so this episode, I know that I say this all the time, but why do I always say this was such a good episode? But I felt like they were building up with each episode. Last few episodes have been really good. So Maggie and the Croat was a shocker, and I can't wait to talk about that with you. And Herschel, I'm like, oh my God, the Dama. Oh, I thought it was a dream. So much happened. And then she conks Maggie out. And we see Negan going through ghosts that haunt him from guilt, grief with Lucille and Annie. So much happened. And we see those kid walkers and just so much happens in this. So it was wild. It was tense. It was emotional and just totally unhinged in the best way. So with saying that, we need to start with the shocker because that Dama and Herschel reveal, like I said, I didn't believe it. Like I thought, because everybody else was dreaming and having ghosts, I'm like, wait, what? So, and then Herschel kind of being at peace with all of it. I thought it was the best way to end the episode. Do you think the Dama's power is about control or belief? And what does that say about Herschel? Is he at peace with her? What do you think about all of that?
So I think the Dama, I think it's both. I think she controls in a way that doesn't, it doesn't, you don't know that she's controlling you like right away at first. She pretends to care about you. She love bombs you into like loyalty because she has saved you. You were gonna die without her. Why would you do anything that would make her upset? Like it's a classic like a just like a tactic, I guess. And she makes you feel like you're the only person in the entire world until you realize you're doing things that she wants you to do without, she makes you think that it's like your idea. But at the same time, she only really like loves you while you're useful to her. Cause she like, as soon as that, cause like her poor little rat, she flipped out and the crow rat killed her over him killing her rat. But then when the rat didn't find the food, she punished it. And that's just like, that's like your treasured thing. And yeah, so I think it's a little bit of both. And Herschel, I feel so bad for him because I don't think he realizes what he's doing. I think he does think that if he can get his mom to meet the Dama, she'll understand, and then maybe the Dama will want to like keep her like safe. But I think she offers him like purpose and attention and power, which things like his mom currently isn't because she's got the weight of the world on her shoulders. And it's no wonder he's drawn to her, even if it's like upsetting to watch because he's longing for something and Maggie can't give that to him right now. But I'm very curious to see how all that went down because there's a body there. So and it looked like it was wearing shoes. So like I was curious. So we'll have to see.
I was curious too. Yeah. I'm like, who is this? How'd they get it down there? What happened? Who did what? I was thinking all that too. No, I was really listening to what you were saying because, and as you talk, all these different things are going through my mind because I can't figure it out. Like I can't give an answer to why I think, I mean, I understand what she must be giving Herschel,
Mm-hmm.
making him feel valuable and heard and the attention he needs. But it's still, I for some reason in my mind, how is your mother's love, even though you're so mad at her, how you have this relationship your whole life with her, that this woman comes in and can just do that. It's hard for me to connect the dots. I just have a hard time. And it's scary to me. He's just so mesmerized by her. And you're right, it's something that Maggie can't give him right now, and she's giving it to him, and that's her focus. Maggie's juggling all kinds of things, multiple things at one time, where she's hyper focused. I'm going to give this kid what he needs so that,
Mm-hmm.
I can have him and have this control. And also, I wonder if it's control or if it's the legacy, because once she knows she can control a young person like this, then she probably feels I can do this with other survivors too.
Mm.
I can, get all these people in my web and just get them to do what I want. And that'll be my legacy.
Well, I don't know. It was on a different podcast, I think talking about The Last of Us though, but they were saying that communities with children, people are more likely to trust. If there are children there, then that makes people think that it's like a safer place. So maybe the Dama thinks that if there's a child, then it's like, oh no, look, I'm taking care of this kid. It's
Mm,
not, that she's like a better person than she is.
yeah. And that whole toe thing, that he willingly gave up his toe. I'm almost afraid like he's so far gone, that he's so in there. And that is so scary to me, even for Maggie. Like, I don't know how she's going to pull him back, because he's seen her almost die. He's seen where he's almost had to save her, help her. I, I am just so afraid. I really,
Hmm.
I think because you just can see how easily young people, not even adults actually, not just young people, but how easily people can manipulate other people. And that is scary to me. That is so scary to me.
It's
Because,
scary because they are playing on like your base need for like belonging and love, and that's really effed up.
and like, can a mother's love cut through that kind of psychological manipulation?
Think it would in my opinion, I think it would depend on how strong of a bond that they had before that. Um, which I mean, I think would be pretty strong, right? They were on the road for a long time, just the two of them. I hate that he used, sorry, I just thought of something. I hate how he used their like it was like a way for him to tell her that it was safe. It was like he held like a flashlight or whatever. He used that to lure her in for a trap, and I hate that.
And when he said to her, "Oh, you saw our signal." And when he said that, I'm like, "Our? You mean like yours and your mother's
That's what
signal?"
I
Or
thought.
like, but then once the Dama showed up, I'm like, "Oh, our signal." But he wanted, okay, but this is how naive he is, right? Because he's all, "Oh, mom, what?" One, that he was so happy. I thought, wait, is Herschel changing back? And then he's like, everything will be great now that you're here. So he wants her to be there. And he, at least that, right? He wants
Mm-hmm.
her to be there, and he wants her to be a part of it, because he thinks that's how sucked in he is to whatever the Dama represents to him,
Yeah.
because he wants his mom to join it, and he's thinking she will. He's thinking she will.
Because he's
So,
convinced that what she is like
yeah.
offering is so special.
Yeah. Ugh.
It's so
That was,
frustrating.
yeah, it is. Okay, so in talking about Maggie, we see that she meets up with the Croat, and then he takes her to this place that she thinks is like a safe house, looking for Herschel. And during that, she's experiencing, I think she's tired. At first, I wasn't sure when she wasn't out on the glass. I'm like, what's happening to her? Because she seemed so dizzy. And my husband said, "Oh, she's really exhausted and tired." I'm like, "Oh, okay." And then put on top of that the vertigo that she's experiencing. And so she literally could not move at that one point. So do you think that fear was about heights or something deeper, like losing herself in this whole fight?
I think when they were in that weird like cubicle maze, I think she was in the very early stages of a panic attack
Mm,
because she was kind of going in and out, that there was like an effect like on the camera or like like on the
yeah.
screen.
Yeah.
But I noticed it kind of starting to happen whenever the Croat tells her how Herschel like willingly was going to give up his toe, and you can kind of see her like she even does one of these, like she starts to like disassociate. And then I think you compound that she has like a fear of heights, then I think the vertigo, I think it's a lot. And I feel so bad because she could never catch a break.
I
But I do think
agree.
the Croat, I think he's setting her up for something.
You think so?
I do because he seemed like too, for a person who like at first like screamed and was really upset at first when like the Dama died, and then like in this episode he's just kind of like chill. And so I think like maybe he thinks like helping to like deliver her will give him will curry some good favor, I think. But I don't know. Just a theory.
So much, right? So much because we don't know, just like we thought the Dama was dead and she's not. But when you were saying you thought that Maggie was having like a panic attack, that makes sense too, because I remembered or that before they went up to where they were going, he showed her where they were going. So she knew what they were going to be experiencing. She just
Mm-hmm.
hadn't seen it yet. Cause first I'm like, well, she's not up high yet. What's happening with her? But that's probably because she was like, oh my God, we got to do all that. I'm not going to be able to do it. But when she was paralyzed with that fear and unable to move across that glass, her acting was like top notch there. I truly believed she was scared. I mean, she
Mm-hmm.
looked like everything had drained from her face. Her eyes were like, how am I going to get across? Now, what you said about the Croat, I'm adding that in there because I want to say I was feeling like they really were having a connection, and I was hoping it's more of that and not that he's setting her up. If he's setting her up, I'm going to be so pissed off at him. But I want to be more this is this was nice that he kept helping her, and you're right, why would he keep helping her? But I couldn't I was hoping it was something in him. You know what? As each episode goes on, even though I can't understand a damn thing sometimes he says, I appreciate him as an actor. Like
Oh.
each episode, he is really good. He conveys so much in his face. And every single episode, I'm like, he's really good. And the fact that he can be this horrible person that doesn't care about people and killing them and then be distraught over the Dama dying and then all of a sudden befriending Maggie and helping her and then showing how he lost his mom, how his mom was his savior. And then, she ended up leaving him when he was a kid and then going
Mm-hmm.
back there and finding out that she had passed away before he got there. So, it's nice to see what he has experienced, what took him down this route. But I really I liked that he was reaching out to her, helping her. And he kept saying, come on, Maggie, come on. And then getting that ladder to help her along. So, but yeah, I was so afraid for her. Like it was so scary to me.
I wasn't convinced for the beginning part of all that the Kurat was actually there until we got the lad. And I was like, oh, okay, that makes sense because like she had been going in and out, and then like this, I don't think any of the stuff with Negan had happened yet. Like I don't know the timeline of that. So maybe like I was no, I think it came in like way after. But
Well, they were interjecting back and forth. So it could,
okay,
yeah.
maybe yeah, yeah. Which I can't wait to talk about that. That's bonks.
We're going to talk about it right now. So, Negan's horror hospital and ghosts of his past. So, Negan says he's done showing mercy. But is that a threat born from guilt, or is he only trying to protect Ginny now that Bruegel is
Yeah,
coming. Yeah. So is this survival mode Negan or something deeper?
I feel like Negan doesn't like where his life has taken him because he gets roped into this thing by a person who hates him, and then he gets taken over by a guy who hates him because he kicked him out. And
Yeah.
then he's used like for who knows how long to do who knows what, being like his old like Negan self. Um, and he probably feel, and then like his like daughter, this person he cares about a ton gets a mundane injury and might die because she needs antibiotics. And I feel like he's scared and he feels like he's in like an unsafe like place and like things are out of his control. And when he was talking to Benjamin, who what does Benjamin think of Negan? Because every story he tells him is more traumatic than the last. Like, good Lord, Negan. Benjamin's just like he like oh my gosh, hilarious. But
Yeah.
sorry, but I think when he was talking to Benjamin, he was reminded of a time when he was in control and when he was safe, and that's when he was OG Negan. Like no one could touch him. Like everyone was afraid of him. Like I remember how like in the OG Walking Dead how they talked about like this scary group of people, like the saviors and this and that. And I think when he says he's going to kill them all, I think he's saying that because he knows that by not killing everyone in Rick's group led to his downfall. If he would have killed them, all of them, then Rick and, none of that would have happened. So yeah, so I think, and I'm hoping he doesn't go full Negan. I hope he just kind of like, you know, rules enough to like I don't know what any of that means. Like I don't want him to kill people, but I feel like he's gonna have to.
Can I respond
Hmm?
to you?
Absolutely.
Two things. One, he says, I showed mercy before and now I'm not going to. And I'm like, you did? That was mercy? The things you did to people, burning Dwight's face because, you know, they took some. I mean, that's mercy. I'm like, you were horrible. Bashing people's heads in, too, if and more. Treating these women like they're all your wives. That's mercy. I, I hope and I think he's just talking. I think he's trying to muster up what he needs to do to save Ginny because he is feeling that guilt. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, so that is, I don't know where he's going with this. So I just wanted to respond to the whole, the phrase that he said.
Yeah,
So,
but I wonder, and I can't remember who said it exactly. Someone in like an episode before this
uh-huh.
said something about do we remember the past times more fondly
Oh,
because we only
Negan.
remember the good. Yeah, so I wonder
Yeah.
if that's what he's doing. If he's truly just remembering like he doesn't remember that he had all those wives. He remembers them being safe. And he knows he killed one
Mm.
person, which is a mercy, he didn't have to kill them all. So
But
maybe,
but also shouldn't he think if he thinks that was mercy, okay. If I didn't show mercy, then I wouldn't be here. I wouldn't have a wife, second wife. I wouldn't have a child. I wouldn't feel the things that I'm feeling, right? Because your whole journey, you don't get to hear where you're at now without the things that you've experienced. So
mhm,
if he continued to be Negan, he wouldn't, that original Negan, then he wouldn't have the things that he has now. So just, hopefully
yeah.
that'll spark in his brain.
Yeah, and I do hope that he does take a look at like, yeah, while like it sucks currently, why, and it's easier to remember the past stuff, like, it's only gonna, you know, you can control like where you go. So like he doesn't have to go like full Negan. I hope he doesn't. But I thought the walker, like the kid walkers were really cool. Oh, I actually just real quick, I want to say one more thing about the Negan stuff. You said that you think he's just like he's talking. I really do hope that when he's not feeling threatened that he doesn't feel the same, that once her infection's gone and she's talking to him and, you know, whatever, then he won't go like a full Negan because he's no longer in that like heightened like state. He had a panic attack too, this episode.
Yeah.
But how could you not, like, being around all those Walker kids? Like, I don't, like, I was so excited.
It was
I,
exciting.
it was
Yeah.
exciting, and I thought it was a little, like, the guy who said, like, people go in, but they rarely come out. I really thought that there would be more, like, adult walkers, just because, like, I don't know, but he only went to, like, a few parts of the hospital, but they were, like, really like, well, a few of the kids were really scary looking and others looked like they'd like, you know, were like barely bit. But I guess there's, you know, like all kinds of stuff. The first, like the very first like kid walker looked a lot like his son. And I
Oh.
thought he was gonna be like, I thought I had read like, I don't know, I guess
Yeah, I read that
I thought,
too. But that was like, oh, it probably was this scene. Because I do remember that. I remember hearing that a long time ago. So this probably was.
it's exciting
He
though.
has his
He did
wife
good.
and his
Yeah.
son. Oh my gosh. How fun.
Oh,
That was heartbreaking though.
I
Oh, and
know.
if it was really his son portraying that, oh my God, what an emotional day for Jeffrey Dean Morgan.
Can you? I like, so I really enjoyed the episode of Tales of the Walking Dead or whatever it was called. Whenever it was just like the like
Yeah.
his episode,
Yeah.
but like I don't know, man.
Oh,
I don't think I could do it with
those
like
were
my.
the sorry, those were the during COVID. Those were the
Mhm.
Walking Dead. So it wasn't the Tales, it was the regular Walking Dead.
Oh,
So
yeah, yeah,
that episode that you're talking about, I believe they were an extension of a season, I think season 10 if around there somewhere.
yeah.
And they
It's
gave
season
us
10. It's episode 22.
okay, yeah. Go ahead with your thought. Sorry about that.
Oh no, I was just gonna say I don't think I could film an episode or anything where my husband is dying in front of me. I could barely hold it together during The Last of Us, during the Frank, and I can never remember his name. Frank and Bill. I couldn't
Oh,
watch it. I did a rewatch and I skipped it. I wasn't paying attention, like I was doing it like while I was working. And I heard Nick Offerman's voice and I was like, skip. Like I know what
oh,
happens. I'm
really?
very
Oh
good.
my
Yeah, because
gosh.
it like I cried so much.
It is. I love it though. Like
Oh, it's so good.
I know it's so good, but I understand like it's so sad you can't take it because it's so good. But I like love it, and yes, it's so moving. But it's such a beautiful episode. I watched it not too long ago either, and I remember thinking this is so good. This is why I love this so much.
So I think that
Yeah.
episode had come out like a month before I got married. So I think I was just really in my
Mm,
feels and I really
yeah.
didn't want to like think about being without him because, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, the walkers were scary. I thought it was weird that they were all kind of like stationary for a while. Have you
They
ever
were
seen
in that.
walkers like do that
Yeah,
before?
they were like I forget what they call it, but they're like asleep basically
Oh,
is what
okay.
they are. They've done that a couple of times
Okay.
before. Yeah.
Okay. I couldn't remember.
Yeah.
But that just made them all like, I was like, oh, like you gotta like tiptoe and be quieter, and then at the very like not at the very end, but when he's like in the middle of it, like is there a person in like the raft or not the rafters and like the ductwork? Is he imagining that? Like I know then like it eventually like leads to like his like dead wife, but I don't know. He went in there for pills and stuff and came out with like a ventilator. I think the pills would have been better for her. Like he
Hopefully he
didn't
got hopefully he
find them
got
or
some somewhere. I don't know. They didn't
something.
really show that. Yeah, they just showed this like this was instrumental in what he needed
Yeah.
because he talked about having to incubate his wife and what that was like. So I thought he was only looking for pills too, but then when he saw that, I'm like, "Oh, that's what you're looking for?"
Yeah.
So,
Isn't real quick, didn't they have to go get stuff for Carl? Didn't they have to go get like a
yes.
breathing machine for him too? And that's when um
They had to get
Shane
something for him. I can't remember what it was
I'm pretty
exactly.
sure it was like a breathing machine. I could be wrong. But that's when Shane killed Otis though, and that was heartbreaking.
Oh, that was a good episode. They're all good episodes. They're so
They are
good.
good.
Oh my
Um
gosh. I thought those kids, the first kid was scary, and I thought that alone, I thought that was so good. And then when he had to walk through all those other ones that were sleeping. Can you imagine though, Negan, because he really cares for kids. So I think that that was like really a nightmare, thinking, oh
Mm-hmm.
my gosh, all these kids. And it's interesting because when he was walking to go there, it said pediatric ward. And so I just thought that's where he needed to go. But then I'm like, oh my gosh, all these kids, this is horrible.
I know.
But that was actually pretty genius to do too. And I thought it was just really good. But yeah, and the fact that his wife appears and Annie appears and his son appears. It was, yeah, all these ghosts of him and the guilt that because he tells Benjamin, look, I failed them. I failed her. I failed her. And he tells them to their face, look, I failed both of you guys. And he's
Mm-hmm.
so emotional through all of that. And I loved seeing Negan have to go through all of that. But it was interesting because I felt like there was such a parallel between what he was going through and what Maggie was going through. They were both like mentally and emotionally unraveling. But yet they were on separate missions. He's trying to help Ginny and she's trying to help and find Herschel, but they're just going through so much, and I just love that. I just thought it was so genius of this episode, and that's what I was feeling when I watched it, and how they're navigating like these internal traumas surrounded by death, and trying to save each of their people, and it's like they're walking a tightrope, literally and morally. So yeah, I just found this episode to be so fascinating.
I feel
Go
like you
ahead.
brought up a really good point that like Maggie and Negan are kind of like they're mirrors of each other in some ways. Like I feel like Maggie is being punished for doing the right thing. Like she's being a mom to her son, and right now that just feels so wrong to him, and he can't handle it. And Negan is doing the right thing by not being himself and not being like Negan. He's
Yeah.
being nice and being a friend and everything, and he's that doesn't really matter. He's been good for so long, but he's like forced back into it, and I feel like he's being punished in that way. And it just like my heart breaks for both of them because they're trying
I
and they just
know
can't
they
win.
are. This thought came up twice when you were talking. It's about Negan, and he is experiencing this guilt and grief with seeing Lucille as this ghost in front of him, and also seeing Annie. It's like, aren't they enough? Because he feels he failed them. Because even Benjamin says, oh, you were there, you did all that stuff. And he's all, no, I was a bad husband because he was off instead of being with her as she was dying with cancer. Wasn't he having an affair or doing
Like,
something?
yeah,
Yeah,
he was with
something.
like her bestie.
And so, yeah, he failed her, wasn't there like he should have been. And then with Annie, where is he feeling he's falling short?
Past is caught up with him, and that's where he feels like it's just a constant reminder of what kind of person he was before that, and he doesn't feel like he's worthy of her, so he's failed her, maybe.
Probably. But what I'm trying to get at too is for Negan, and I'm hopefully he'll realize this, is that turning into the old Negan isn't going to help either one of those people at all,
Mm-mm,
or even
mm-mm,
Ginny. It's not going to help anybody.
mm-mm,
So he needs to keep growing toward the person that he's becoming, I
mm-hmm.
think. And I think he's probably going to realize that at some point, but I think it's easier sometimes to regress to something that you've done before and think that you did it wrong here. And so let me rectify it because I was wrong here, so I'm going to do this. But really, is that what you really want to be? And I've mentioned this before. It's like, is that really the legacy that you want to leave your son now and your wife now?
Yeah.
So it's just such a journey. And I love that we get to have this series and explore two of the characters and their journey and what it means. So it's just been so good. I'm just so glad. But anyway, let's get to our rapid fire. Okay, you ready?
Ready.
What scared you the most?
Oh, when Maggie was on that like on the glass bridge and moving like at a glacial pace. I have a fear of heights, so no, thank you. What about you?
That was it for me too. The fear I felt for her, I don't know that I'm afraid of heights, but I can imagine being up that high would be scary. And the fact that you've got walkers grabbing at your feet at the same time, and oh, that was scary. Also, that ending with the Dama, oh my gosh. I mean, I was equally scared. And as we go into the next question in our rapid fire, is what was your favorite moment of the episode? It was partially my favorite moment of the episode too, along with, I'll let you name it first, along with what?
The children. This is so weird. I know I've talked about this before, but I've always wanted like a zombie baby because I think it would be weird. And I don't know. I've seen the Dawn of the Dead remake a little like one too many times. So I'm pumped to see kids because you don't really get to see that too often because movies and TV shows don't really do that with kids because it's like taboo and stuff.
Yeah.
And so I thought it was kind of like interesting and it was my favorite and also really scary because he had to be so quiet and like, oh, I was worried about them smelling him and
Yes,
oh,
I felt it too. Like you said, because it's taboo, right? You just don't do that. But it's like it was heartbreaking because he didn't want to kill that kid. That's why he kept
mm-mm,
putting everything in front of him. Because if it had been a normal adult walker, he would have just, got it in the head, but he couldn't. He couldn't do that. And that could have been his demise, right? Because if
mm-hmm.
you don't kill it, it might bite you. And then when he was running through, first he has to walk through, which to me was so scary. That's like walking with amongst walkers with walker guts. Like that's so
Oh,
scary to me. That's almost what it was. And then when he came back running, I'm like, there's too many. They're going to grab you. But good thing that they aren't strong enough and
yeah,
that
they're
he's
like
able to just,
tiny. Yeah,
yeah,
just like
he's able to just kind of push him away. Oh, but I'm sorry. I know we're in a rapid fire, but I do want to say that that person that was actually Lucille upside down in the rafters, that was so bizarre to me. I'm like,
it
what
was
am I seeing?
scary.
Yeah, it was
It threw me
scary.
for a loop. I should have put that as my at what scared me the most because I jumped. I was like, and then I immediately went back to there was that episode 9, maybe 10, I don't know. One of the like things where they were in that house where it was
Yes,
like yeah, and I thought like, oh my God, are we in like, is that happening? Um,
totally felt it too. Yeah.
but that like he didn't disturb like the walkers, like so whoever there must be a person because the walkers got disturbed like were already disturbed as he was running through. So like
Ooh.
I don't know if that's like yeah, at least that's I think.
You're
Um,
no, you're right, but I really think it was all a figment of his
you think so?
imagination. I
Yeah.
think it was. I mean, if it was
But
somebody else, they never showed any anything because when he knocked the person, what ended up being Lucille, the thing was empty, so there was nothing in the bag.
yeah.
So I
But
feel like,
the
go ahead.
person looked like they had like Herschel eyes though. Like I thought it was Herschel if I'm honest. I was like, "Oh, there
Yeah,
he is. Like we finally found
yeah,
him."
yeah.
So maybe he's doing the most and he also has pills. I need to stop.
Maybe you're
I need to
right.
stop.
You're
I
right.
need to stop saying it like that. He has medicine.
Yeah. I know so much to speculate because what I love is that anything could happen, right? Like any of
Mm-hmm.
these things. So we'll see if anything comes of that. But I was thinking it was all his imagination during this whole time there. But
Yeah.
who's to say? And so the last one, what do you think will happen in the finale?
So I think Negan's gonna either, this is kind of a joke. I think Negan is maybe going to maybe get people in like a scenario where he's gonna like act like he's gonna bust some skulls, but I think he's gonna like either not do it or he'll show restraint and only kill like Bruegel or the Dama, like a person who like we're like, okay, like that's fine. We don't really care too much. But then there was also a preview where Maggie picks up Lucille, so maybe she bashes some skulls. Um, on a serious note, though, we didn't get to see any of Pearlie's story, so I'm pumped to
Right.
see him. He's going to show up in tactical gear to see what he chooses to do because I feel
Yeah.
like he's got a choice in front of him to either like go along with Bruegel and be a jerk or do the right thing and maybe possibly get killed. But yeah, and I want to see I want some resolve with the methane because everyone keeps talking about it. Maybe they'll blow it up.
In the previews, we see Maggie's tied up, but then later on, we see her picking up Lucille. So, how does she get loose? What happens? My only concern is she going to have a choice to make? Because if she tries to kill the Dama, what is Herschel? Is she going to lose Herschel over that? That's hard, right? And is the
Mm.
Croat done? Is his arc over? Is he gone now, or is he going to come back? There's so many strings that need to be, tied up. Also, like you said, Pearly, where is his loyalty going to be? What's he going to do? And I'm thinking, hey, what if Ginny ends up getting well and is able to maybe take down the Dama? I mean, she's underestimated and she's been through hell and she has her own sense of justice and she watches everything. So,
And she has that gun, or had that gun.
yeah.
That's actually really fun. I think the Dama definitely has to die. Either the Dama or the Croat, I think. One of them's got to go.
I feel like the Croat, though, isn't a part of the leader. I mean, if he dies, I wonder if it'll be saving somebody, you know?
Ooh. Hmm.
But I don't think that he needs to die as like a force to be reckoned with, right? It's
Mm-mm.
got to be the Dama or what's going to happen with Bruegel, or is the Dama going to get away with something and that's going to be take you into the next season?
Hmm.
Which I don't want that because, but that could happen. That could happen.
I know.
I don't want it to.
Mm-mm.
So,
Mm.
so much to look forward to and explore. I can't wait. Let's get to our question of the day. So, it was, what's scarier to you? Standing on a ledge hundreds of feet up, floating alone in a deep space, or being trapped deep underwater?
So you hit all three. Like I'm not, I'm afraid of a lot of things, and it's mostly those things. Heights, space, no thank you. Being trapped under, like, I don't even like looking at deep water. Like I did, like, it's funny. I was thinking about like, I'm trying to figure out like what's the worst. And I feel like it's definitely floating alone in space because I don't know. I just feel like because space is so big. And I know the ocean is very vast and also really just, but I don't know. Well, we've actually explored more of space than we have our oceans. I don't know. I think I'm gonna stick with space though.
Isn't it so scary to think about?
Oh,
So, as I was thinking about the question of the day, I was thinking about Maggie and the fear that she had. And I thought, that's really scary to her, right? That's really a fear. And I'm like, well, what am I afraid of? Like that is can be somewhat universal because we all have other fears, right? Of losing people and just other things, right? But I thought, no, what's big? And I thought, oh, I'm so scared of space and I'm so scared of the deep, deep, deep ocean. I'm not afraid of the ocean, but like down, if you had to go down in a submarine or whatever and then just lose connection. Also, I have a thing where I sort of lose, even if I go in water, I sort of lose orientation as to where
mm,
the upside. I'm like, wait, where? And I know it's follow the light, but I don't know. It doesn't always work for me when I've been in water. Like if I try, when I remember when I was a kid and I used to do like a somersault and I couldn't find my way, even though I
mm.
thought I could, and I'd freak out. And you can't freak out when you're underwater because you got to hold your breath. So that's always been very fearful to me, but also being in space and like just floating out to nowhere and just nothing. I think
Ugh.
to me that's the scariest only because in the ocean, maybe eventually you would drown. Not that I would want to ever drown, but at least that would put you out of your misery at some point. But if you're flying out in space, that could be forever.
It could be, yeah. So what, a human body can live, it's like a week without water?
That's true.
But
It
I
would
mean,
be,
a week
yeah.
is that's, I mean, I've never truly experienced like dehydration, if we're honest, but I know I've been really thirsty. And like, I can't imagine. because like we've all been there where it's like hot or like you just haven't had any water in a while and you're like, I'm gonna die, and like that feels
Ugh,
like it's the worst.
I know. Any of
Um,
them. Just don't give me any of them. I don't want to do
no,
anything, experience anything.
mm-mm.
All right, friends out there, let us know what you think. What is the scariest to you? Being out on a ledge hundreds of feet up, out in deep space, or down in the water? So many things, right? Or do you have something else? Another fear that you want to share with us? Or if you just want to share something about this episode and what you were excited about, any of our lightning round, you can answer any of those. You can leave us a comment here, wherever you're watching or listening. You can get to any of our social media, and that is in our show notes, or you can go to screensinfocus.com and our social media links are there. Or you can call us because we'd love to hear you at 669-223-8542. Whoa, that was a great penultimate episode. Come back for the finale. We can't wait to break it down. We're so excited. All right, we're done talking about Dead City. Let's get to our TV and movie recommendations. Sam, what are you watching?
So I've watched one of 3 episodes of The Mortician, which is on HBO Max, and it's about this guy out in California, the Lamb family. He owns like a funeral home, and he did a bunch of shady shit, and is just like, yeah, no, I did that. And it's like bonkers to me that he's just so like cavalier about it. It's interesting. And then I watched a couple of documentaries over the weekend, both on Netflix. One's called Trainwreck: The Astro World Tragedy. It's a it's apparently there was a festival happening out in California with Travis Scott, he's like
Yeah.
an artist. I've never heard anyway, and like people died. It's really tragic, and I knew like nothing about it. Highly recommend that. It's really sad. And then the other one I watched was the Titan documentary, also on Netflix, and there's one on HBO that's pretty good, but this one had like a ton more just stuff. I think they must have gotten like the rights first because they had like so much more information than the other one did.
Ah.
Um, Highly recommend that. And then this afternoon I watched Pride and Prejudice and Zombies on Hulu, which came out in 2016, and um, it takes like the classic Pride and Prejudice story and inserts like a zombie horde or a zombie plague, I guess. And it's kind of scary because they can like talk to you like they're normal. Like the more they eat brains, I think like the hungrier they get, the more like zombie like I think. And so it's kind of like weird because it's like a Victorian person, their face half eaten off, but they're talking to you like they're like totally normal. And so I like that little twist. And it's like weird and, I had a good time watching it. What about you? What have you watched?
Well, I watched Ginny and Georgia season 3. Is it season 3?
I
I think
think
it's season
so.
3. Anyway,
Is it all out?
Netflix. Yes, it's
Okay.
yeah, it's all out. And I watched the first few episodes first and I'm like, okay, all right. Oh man, it came in as each episode, it got better and better. I'm like, this is why I love this show. Oh my gosh, it ties it up. I kept thinking, how is this going to pan out? It was good.
I
It
think
was
I'm gonna
good.
watch it, so
Yeah. I'm not
don't.
telling you anything. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's good. That's all I got to say. But it ramps up though, because
Okay.
initially I'm like, but it gets good. So I love it. I love it. Check it out. Ginny and Georgia on Netflix. I also watched The Plane on Netflix. I have been waiting for this. This is from 2023. It's with Gerard Butler. I'd wanted to see it and I kept waiting for it to come out on streaming. I don't know what took so long. We're 2025. The movie's 2 years old, so maybe a year and a half it came out. I don't know. So I'm not sure what's up with that, but it was really good. It was a good, solid movie. And it's not about just being in the air. So that's what I thought, but it's not. It's about
Is
lightning
that the
striking
one
this
where
plane.
yeah, 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 where they
Yeah.
like have to crash land in like a
Yes.
war torn. That movie was
Yes.
so good.
Yes. So I really enjoyed that. I
Gerard Butler,
also,
you pop him in
yeah,
anything though.
I know. I know. He's so good. I also watched The Materialists in the theaters. I've been dying to see it with Dakota Johnson. Chris Evans and Pedro Pascal. I'm thinking, I have to watch this. It's by Celine Song, who did Past Lives. And it's not your typical, it's not a rom-com. It's so smartly written. I really enjoyed it. It's about romance, but it's about, do you go with checking off your boxes or do you follow true love? And you know, you have to make some decisions here, and it's a really good movie. I don't want to give anything away. I did enjoy it. That's what I have to say. But don't think it's a rom-com, because it is not.
I thought it was going to be like, but I don't.
Yeah.
I'm in for whatever, because you put those. I've loved like the press tour, all their interviews.
Yes, me
so I will
too.
watch that no matter like how it is.
Yeah.
But I'm also kind of glad knowing it's not a rom-com. So thank you.
Yeah, it's not. It's good. And it's good. It's about delving into just thoughts that you have and check boxes that you think you need, and who makes the perfect person on paper, and choices you make, and decisions that you make, and about love. I think it's really well done. So I enjoyed it. All right. That is our wrap up of our TV and movie recommendations, and also Dead City. Please come back for the finale of Dead City. We can't wait to talk about it with you. Sam, thank you for joining me today.
Thank you for having me as always.
Yes, it's always so much fun. Thank you so much. All right, friends out there, thank you for joining us. We hope we gave you some insight, something to think about, a chuckle, some inspiration, hopefully some recommendations. Remember to follow Screens in Focus at screensinfocus.com, and tell a friend. We would love that. And remember to keep watching, keep exploring, and keep those screens in focus. And we will see you next time. Bye.
Bye.